Welcome to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness, the podcast where we're tearing up the rulebook of conventional wellness because one size fits all never fits anyone. I'm your host, Jo Swenson, herbalist and founder of Olivia Bell.
How long could you realistically go without leaving your house? I'm not talking about when you're sick or just having a lazy Sunday. I mean, how long could you actually go? Because if I'm being honest, I could easily go a few days. Stay at home, work from home, have groceries delivered, even have a few meals delivered. Everything I need is pretty much handled. And I know I'm not the only one. More and more people are living like this now. The question isn't, can we do it? The question is, should we do it? Because I'm not sure that's what living well actually looks like. Welcome to episode 4 of our 6-part Living Well series. Today we're talking about the impact that modern conveniences have on our everyday living. Our ability to never leave our homes and survive for, ever, didn't happen because people stopped caring. It happened because living life just got easier. We are optimized for speed, efficiency, and convenience. That's the world we've created. And on the surface, that sounds like a win. But in the process, we've removed something without really noticing it. We removed our basic need for a body. Now, I want you to think about that. We don't have to move to get what we need anymore, have to go anywhere. We don't even have to see people face to face. There was a research study done in Nature Reviews Endocrinology, and it pointed out that modern environments are literally engineered for efficiency and minimal effort. And we've taken that deal without really questioning what we gave up in return. I know that one of those things we've given up is movement, but it's bigger than just that. We didn't just remove moving. We also removed real human interaction, time outdoors, having physical presence in our own lives. We can live an entire day now without engaging in the world around you. Now, I'm the first one to admit when I am not feeling very people-y, and I would rather just stay home with the dogs and not see or speak to other people. That's not an everyday occurrence for me, but it is for some people. So at some point, we need to ask, what is this doing to us, to our bodies, to our minds, to our spirit? Because if we're doing all the right things, even if we work out and we're eating well, if we are living a high sedentary life, that lifestyle is linked to increased health risks, even if we're doing all the right things. So this isn't about whether or not we go to the gym for an hour a day. It's how we're living our life, how it's structured the other 23 hours of the day. Our bodies were designed, and the expectation is that we are going to move, that we are going to interact with people, that we are going to have some variation and engagement. And when we don't get that, our bodies start to feel it. Let's put ourselves aside for a minute and think about what all of this is doing to our children and our grandchildren. We adapted to this environment. Most of you listening to this podcast grew up during a time where computers and video chat and all the modern conveniences were introduced to us. So we were able to adapt. But there's children that are actually growing up in it. They've only known a screen. They've only known cell phones and computers. They've known it from the day they were born. A lot of studies are being conducted and published regularly in JAMA, the Journal of American Medicine Pediatrics, as well as the Lancet Child and Adolescent Health. Here's what they're finding. Early screen exposure is associated with delays in communication, problem solving, and attention. Higher screen use is associated with increased anxiety and challenges with emotional regulation. So this just isn't about kids being on screens. It's about what happens when their development is happening without movement, interaction, real connection to the real world. That changes things. That changes who they're growing up to become. I keep going back to this quote from the Dalai Lama. When asked what surprised him about humanity, he replied, man. Because he sacrifices his health to make money, then he sacrifices his money to recuperate his health. He lives as though he is never going to die, and dies having never really lived. When I look at how we're living now, primarily indoors, on screens, constantly looking for efficient, optimized ways of doing things, living disconnected from each other, I really have to ask this question: is this actually living well? The real issue is not just about what we're lacking. We've made it possible to exist without really participating in our own lives. We've made it possible to live on autopilot. I'm not telling you to throw your phone away, and I'm not going to tell you to go live off the grid, though I have had thoughts of doing that. But I want you to do one thing this week. I want you to start noticing when you are choosing convenience. And then I want you to ask yourself why. Where are you replacing connection with the screen? Why? Where are you physically not part of your own life? Why? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Living well isn't about doing more. It's about actually being here for your life while you're living it. And if modern life is quietly pulling you away from that, it's worth paying attention to. If this question stuck with you today, I wrote a companion piece over on Substack where we can explore this idea a little further. You'll also find some reflection questions from this episode if you want to spend a little more time thinking about the impact that modern conveniences is having on our everyday lives. The link is in the show notes.
I hope you make some time today and every day for some peace, some plants, and some pause. Thank you so much for listening to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness.